Steady, and we have 47 degrees in Hutchinson as we get you into the morning show this morning. Welcome in Glenn Grunwald and his guest. Good morning,
Thanks
Glenn.
a lot. Appreciate it very much, Max. Yeah, we have USD 308 in with us. Stacey Goss, she's the Director of Communication, Marketing, and a little bit of everything else that goes on at US 308. So glad to have her along. She'll introduce her guest here in just a little bit. But, boy, we're toward the end of the year already, Stacey.
Counting down the days.
I cannot believe it.
26 days left.
That is amazing. I know I was talking to Lisa, and we just got through prom. That was just this weekend.
Prom wrapped up. State assessments is on its way to being wrapped up. And, yeah, it's like everything is – it's a sprint to the finish line.
It is a sprint to the finish line. But, boy, we had some great weather to have that sprint and make it very available. Other than the wind. We've had some wind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Been going on. So what's going on with 308 in your department? And then we'll talk with Lisa.
Yeah, so the first thing that I want to tell folks about is the kindergarten meet and greet coming up next week. So on Tuesday night from 6 to 7, we have all of the elementary schools except Allen, and then Allen will hold theirs on Thursday night from 6 to 7. So during that event, it is really an open house, so you can bring your kids, your kindergartner, your all of the kids, the whole family, meet the teachers, see the school, whether you're new to the district or maybe you've been with the district for years already. We just want to welcome you and show you the classrooms, show your kiddo everything that they're going to get to do in a couple of months. And then we also send you home with a little bit of a sugar rush because we got cookies and juice boxes and whatnot. And a kindergarten readiness bag. So they have a summer skills booklet to work on with scissors, pencil, eraser, crayons, things like that, so that they can get ready for some of those skills that we hope they have when they come to kindergarten that really would set them up for a great, strong start.
It's really important to kind of take that anxiety out of both the moms and dads and the kiddos.
It is.
And you lived that last year.
I did. And in that bag, we also give a book called The Night Before Kindergarten, and it talks about how this child had a little bit of anxiety, and then talking it through with the parents of what to expect and how to get how to pick out your first day outfit and things like that. So it's a really cute book, and we provide one of those to each family at the open house. And for people who can't make it to this event, we do only have the one for each school. We also have those bags available, whatever's left over at the open house in August.
And so who would they contact if they're not able to make it? Just at the schools?
Well, yeah, we'll catch them eventually. If they do wish to have a tour or something like that or meet teachers and staff, they can call the building that their neighborhood elementary, and then we'll catch them during enrollment.
This give you guys a good idea of head counts to some extent? Is it? I mean, it's not always accurate at this time of the year, but still.
Tracking that number is kind of a crapshoot in Reno County and probably everywhere else because you just don't know. The kids who are in preschool or in childcare right now, they could be 3, 4, maybe turning 5. Like that area is kind of mixed together. However, we have some predictions, and we've been on the mark for the past couple of years.
That's outstanding. We're going to back in the next segment. We're going to talk a little bit of Little Hawks because we had them on the other day, and they're getting ready to open up their facility. Why don't you introduce our two guests here that are no strangers to being here with us?
I dragged them along quite a bit. So first I have Lisa Yantis, the Director of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment. She's going to talk about the recent math textbook adoption that she and a whole team of people went through just recently. And then Travis Riebel, our Director of Career Technical Education Academy.
So they both have been very busy, and Travis were discussing the good weather with the construction and everything out there. It makes it nice. But Lisa, you said we're going to talk a little bit about math today, and I said, well, that's one of my favorite subjects.
Well, it's my husband's favorite subject as well.
I know it is. So no, I was telling you, I used to tease Rusty Hills all the time and say, Rusty, I got through another day, and I didn't use any calculus. And he didn't really enjoy with that when I would say that. He said, you have to use it someday, and he's so correct. So, but let's talk about what's going on.
Yeah, so we just finished up an 18-month process of adopting or getting ready to adopt a new textbook for math. It had been about 10 years prior that we had done that. So in that time frame, the standards had changed, best teaching practices had changed, and so this gives us an opportunity it's going to be a K-12 adoption, which previously we had 3 different companies, and now we're doing one. The other thing that this, what we chose, affords for us is it also has a special education component that aligns with it as well. So we're really looking forward to how all of the different facets will kind of work together to give a better cohesive program for math. So we're really excited about it.
You're always looking for different curriculums that are going to fit the mold.
Yeah, the best fit for everyone. We want to make sure that we're always in alignment with, whatever KSD has given us for standards. We want to make sure our students are college and career ready as we send them out to the workforce eventually. And so the focus was on math, and actually next year we're going to work on science. So
it moves to the different disciplines that everybody's going to have. I know when I toured USD 308 a couple years ago with the educator program that was going on, I was really impressed with the number of post-high school, and of course with Hutch Community College right next door really made it nicely, but that's not for everybody. You have with the trades and everything out there, you have different, and math falls into all that.
Opportunities for kids. It's incredible. Yeah.
That makes it really neat. Travis, I know you've been busy. We were talking about the good weather, that, we need moisture and everything, but your construction sites have been hopping, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. With our construction technology program, we're out on Avenue A, constructing the duplex for the frame grant, and we're in the finishing stage now with, as Stacy mentioned earlier, 20-some days of school left, and that makes us in finish time and in also rush mode as far as getting everything done. So we start at the very first of the project, framing it all up and things, and at this point we're to the point to where we have a workshop built out in the garage to where we're building our cabinets. We do all custom cabinets for our kitchen and vanities and all of that. We're finishing the siding, exterior painting, floors and walls, and just finishing all those finishing touches that makes a home a home.
All the HGTV shows are always popular. My wife and I watch those. Nothing goes as easy as it seems like it goes with that, but they always find something wrong. But you guys are doing new construction, so that's not so bad. But is it as easy as it looks on those shows?
Yeah, well, it's not. It's a challenge. And one thing about construction, whether it's new construction or remodel, old construction, you're always dealing with what you have there existing. So I would say the very first step of the project, when we're starting with the foundation and concrete, that influences every step along the way. So you always have to be planning ahead in that next step and knowing, and always thinking like 3 or 4 steps down the road. So yeah, there's always challenges in construction, but we do our best to overcome those, and that's also for us. We're teaching students, so it's an educational opportunity for our students.
Exactly. Yeah. I would have to say that the weather is always your biggest obstruction that you might have, and we've had gorgeous weather to be able to work with that. Yes, we need rain, but at the same time, in your area where you're pouring cement and doing some things like that, it's been a blessing.
It sure has, yeah. It hasn't been good for growing and some of those things that we would like, but when we talk about the construction world, we've had lots of days that we can be outside and sometimes to where we would have to pull students off the projects in past years or past times because of cold, snow, or whatever it might be, but we've been blessed with a mild winter and had some good weather for this spring as well.
Certainly have. We're going to take a short break. We're talking with USD 308 personnel. We're talking again with Travis Riebel. He's talking about some of the building that's going on, some of the different sites, and of course Lisa Yentis is the director of curriculum and talking about some of the math programs as well as Stacy Goss. We'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back, talking with USD 308 personnel this morning. Lisa, I'm going to go back to you and talk about the curriculum. So just what stands out about this new curriculum compared to other options that you had?
I think one of the things for the teachers that piloted, and we had like 40 teachers across all buildings and grade levels that piloted it, they felt like it really hit the higher level questioning, getting kids to see real world connections. It also offered a personalized pathway option digitally for kids to work on the things that maybe they need a little bit more reinforcement with, and then extend learning. I mean, it even goes post-calc for those of us that are on that higher end. There's extension opportunities for kids, so it really hit the opportunities for all types of learners to continue to make progress in math. And so that was a really key feature for teachers who piloted it and really liked that. They thought it was really accessible to kids. Even has, if a teacher decided to do homework, there's even extension activities that they can do at home with parents with stuff in the house to reinforce what maybe they had done that day in class.
So walk us through the adoption process regarding with the new curriculum.
Yeah, sure. So it was an 18-month process. We spent the first basically 4 or 5 months really looking at what are the best practices in math currently, looking at if standards had changed any, and really evaluating just anything that was new that was out there. We originally looked at 8 different books that kind of were at the top across the country, and we narrowed that down to 3, and then we spent this fall piloting those. Each month, teachers in their classrooms piloted one of the 3 that we were considering adopting. So I definitely want to give a shout out to the teachers who did all of that work, because they're normally using one resource for the whole year, and they had to do 3 and change each month, so that's really difficult. They put in a lot of work to really vet what will be our new product. And honestly, you have to give credit to the kids. They learned in 3 different systems, and so that's difficult.
Yeah.
Just when you learn something, a program or a practice or a routine, then we were switching it up. So I really have to give all of those people, kids and families and teachers, a lot of credit for really going through this curriculum. And then now what we're working on is, now that we've decided and the board has approved our recommendation, what we're working on is how to best implement that, get everybody on the same page for the then implementation this fall, and then working on what we call vertical alignment, meaning does the kindergarten teacher know what is expected in first? Does the first grade teacher know what's expected in second? So we talk up a grade level, so to speak, and then we talk to the lower grade level just to make sure that everybody's kind of unified in their approach.
And that leads to success with the student being able to learn. I like the fact that you're using your own personnel to get input rather than just decide with a group of administrative educators, but to say, hey, here, take a look at this, see what's good, what's bad, what doesn't work.
It was a teacher vote, no administration. I mean, I did not vote. I didn't, anything like that. It was all
It's where the rubber hits the road, isn't
it?
Yeah, that sounds good. Travis, just real quick, talk about the frame grant that you received as well.
Yeah, so the Frame Grant gave us the opportunity to partner with Hutchinson Community College. They were actually the recipient of the grant, as well as many other entities throughout Hutchinson, with the Hutchinson Chamber of Commerce, the City of Hutchinson, and many of our business and industry partners. But so the Frame Grant, it stands for Residential Advancement Through Mentoring and Education.
Okay.
So really it was from the Department of Commerce, and it was developed to help residential projects, such as many that we have here in Hutchinson, and some of those initiatives, as well as fostering the partnership between community colleges and USDs, or secondary schools, in providing construction education. And we are well into that here in Hutchinson. We have a long history of partnering with Hutchinson Community College and a strong programs because of that. But this gave us one more route and one more way that we can do so.
Well, it makes it very interesting because of the different skills that the students have to learn. You told it before, a variety of different skills. So exactly what skills are some of your students learning?
So when we look at the construction industry, it's very diverse, from concrete work to the framing, construction part of it, and then into our systems such as electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. So when we look at our students and skills they're ready to go out, they're ready to go out in some of those entry-level construction jobs. Also, I would encourage any employers out there that may be looking for apprentice in electrical or plumbing to get a hold of our program as well, because our students are well on their way for those careers.
And that's what employers are looking for, no doubt about that. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it, Travis. Thank you, Lisa, as well. We'll be back at 7:45. Thank you, as always, Stacy, as well. We'll be back with more. Bottom of the hour news coming your way, KWBW Hutchinson, Kansas. Thank you very much, Max. Yes, we have the USD 308 folks in. Dr. Dawn Johnson, she's superintendent of USD 308. And, of course, Stacy Goss was with us in the last segment. Appreciate Lisa Yantis as well as Travis Riebel stopping by to chat with us about their program. It's always interesting to talk about the curriculum, as well as also, of course, I'm intrigued by what Travis does with the students that want to go a different route in the trade routes. Dr. Johnson, those are 2 strong programs you have.
Yeah, it is never a dull moment over in USD 308. We have a lot going on all of the time, and so
let's talk about the survey that you recently sent out. Of course, you're talking about revamping the bond proposal and putting it before the voters again, and I think it was very wise to to reach out to the voters in Reno County and the Hutchinson area specifically in the District of Hutchinson to say, okay, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that I don't think that survey did close up here, I think on Monday, right? Just recently this week it closed, and so we will present the folks that helped us with that survey. We'll present that data back out to the Board of Education on our next board meeting, which I believe is April 27th. So we'll get that information, that feedback back to kind of help us decide if there is a path forward. And if so, what does that path look like? So we'll be looking at that. We're taking a look. We'll see. That'll really be our guiding light. But right now we are taking a look. We had some folks come to us and talk to us after the election. And I think even Dan Deming maybe even wrote an article and just said even if it was a no mill increase, that's something I think we can all get behind, or that we can handle. Taxes are just hard right now, and there's it's getting a crunch for everyone right now. It's on lots of different fronts. So we're taking a look at what a no mill increase, and so I presented that at the board on Monday, and we have a committee that's been talking about that. But that could be maybe a 10-year note instead of a 25-year note, and so at 10 years we could maybe get somewhere between 36 and 40 million, and that would take care of replacing our HVAC systems, replace all of the roofs that are probably close to 30 years old in our buildings, upgrade some kitchens that are desperately needed. Jennifer Tatro, our food service director, talked to the board on Monday and just talked about the aging facilities in our kitchens, some safety and security at our elementaries, and so it would really just be kind of brass tacks that we would do in that 35-ish million.
And that makes common sense. If anybody that is a homeowner or a property owner knows that the HVAC systems wear out and you got to replace those, and there's got to be a way to be thinking the future, so to speak, to be able to take care of those necessities.
Yeah. Any building HVAC system replacement for the district, any of our buildings except for the high school is way more, is at least $500,000, $500,000 to replace. Yeah,
easily, and those prices keep going up.
Yeah.
That's another key too. What could have been in the future, you don't know what the future shows, but a lot of it would increase in prices of the items. So real quick, Stacy, going to go to you to talk about, we didn't talk about the last segment, but some of the time frame things coming up. One of them is graduation.
Yeah, it's a big deal for a lot of people. So 3 graduation ceremonies of note. The biggest one is Hutch High, Sunday, May 17th at 2 p.m., and Midtown is Friday, May 15th at 6 p.m., and then HMS 8 is Thursday, May 21st, which I believe is the last day of school, so maybe the day before. I don't have my calendar, I'm sorry. But Thursday, May 21st is for the 8th grade.
So that's going to be an exciting time for those kiddos. They start marking off the calendars, and so do the teachers to some extent.
Oh, yeah. In my son's kindergarten class, every day has a theme from here until the end of school.
That's neat.
But, yeah, all of these events will be live streamed in one way or another, and those links will be shared for folks who can't attend. Those will be shared on Facebook or via email to parents and guardians.
It's always a fun time, Dr. Johnson, to see the students, the seniors specifically, graduate and all the family taking pictures and doing everything. It's a part of one's life that you want to go back and look at those pictures and remember.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is a culminating experience of their entire childhood and education here in Hutchinson and USD 308 to get to that point, and so it is definitely worth celebrating.
I know that Steve had a signing day yesterday, several of the athletes.
We did, and I have a post that will be shared later today on the District and Athletics Facebook page with celebrating all of the kids. We had 8 students who signed for colleges, and just hearing what everything they participated in. These kids are Renaissance folk. I mean, they did a little bit of everything, and it's going to pay dividends for them. They've got scholarships lined up. They've got room and board, all of that, and then they also have the benefit of the athletic coaches and programs holding them accountable and mentoring them through their college years.
It's always fun to see that that take place and see the families again celebrating their success.
Day.
Exactly. We're going to take a short break, come back and talk about some other things, some of the things in the legislature that affect USD 308. Back with more right after this. Welcome back. USD 308 is with us today. Dr. Don Johnson, Superintendent of Schools at USD 308, and Stacy Goss, who was Director of Communication, Marketing, and a little bit of everything else. Dr. Johnson, we were talking a little bit out in the hallway. Again, the cell phone legislature information going on. There's some things with the legislature that you want to talk about a little bit.
Yeah, so, last year the board worked, we created a committee and a screen time task force, and they presented to the Board of Education, about this time last year. And so then USD 308 Board of Education passed a policy banning cell phones in the classrooms. So students in the high school could have them at lunch, and they could have them in passing periods. And so then this year now the legislature has passed a law. So it's no longer policy. It is now illegal to have phones from the minute you enter into school until school is out, at the end of the last bell of the day. So that's the law that was passed. Now they're leaving it up to the school board to decide, let's say, if they want to extend that law into events that might happen immediately after school or at school events. So, will this apply if students attend a basketball game in the evening on Friday night? Will this apply as students are on the bus heading to another activity? So the school board, they didn't provide guidance on that. You just have to decide if you will or won't extend it beyond the last bell of the day. So we, because we developed the policy last year, we kind of already have some discipline in place, so we don't really have to worry about that. What we have to do now is help educate our parents that it's the law of the land now, and not just a USD 308 policy. So we got to make sure we're communicating with parents that they know that, and so ultimately they're really responsible for how do they make sure their kids are not violating the law when they're in school. And so we'll figure out, what that looks like and how we can help parents make some decisions to help, keep everyone on the legal side of this.
So is it a situation where they check the phone in, or they just don't have it on their bodies, don't have it personally in a backpack or anything,
so
or in their locker?
The law says that it must be put away, turned off and put away and inaccessible. So we've had a conversation like, if you drive your car to school, can you leave the phone in your car? Well, only if that car is inaccessible during the day. They can't really just leave it in their backpack because their backpack is not inaccessible.
And it's probably right there with them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can we put it in the wall locker? Well, their wall locker is not inaccessible during the day. They can go to access those. So that's what we're trying to do. It could be that we just pass a policy that says don't bring it to school whatsoever. We don't want to have we don't want to have to lock it up or figure out where that's going to be. I don't know that we have inaccessible places unless we were to purchase these pouches that you can purchase that kind of get closed up, and so then that becomes expensive, and you have to put in devices to lock and unlock those pouches. So there's some different ways that we can look at there, but that's the part we do have to figure out. How are we going to offer the inaccessible piece for students who do bring it in? Or do we just say, don't bring it in at all, and if you do bring it in and it's found with it, then it's just confiscated? You
brought up a point that I didn't even think about, was the school activities, such as busing down to Great Bend for basketball games in the afternoon or something. Would they'd have access. So those are things that really have to be thought through extensively, and including parents' input as well.
Yeah, and so that's the part the Board of Education will have to decide. Do they want to just leave it at the end of the bell, and then students can have their phone, or do they want to extend it into student activities? And so we'll have conversations about that.
Well, Stacy indicated school starting to wrap up, graduation dates, last day of school. What happens with administration? Is June a slower month, or it seems to me like administrators are it's about a year-round job to some extent?
Yeah, pretty much. So our principals are on like a 10 and 10.5 month contract, and so they'll kind of close out early June, and then they'll come back about the last week of July. And so really for those who are on 12-month employees, so district administrators, the high school principal's a 12-month employee, you really have about June where it kind of is quiet. But, really starting after 4th of July, then we're really ramping back up to welcome those principals back in, welcome secretaries back in, and start doing all of the things to get ready for enrollment and open up the schools and walk through and make sure everything's clean and ready to go. So
it's a fun time of the year to kind of wrap it up and send those seniors off and bring those new kids in. Stacy, why don't you give those dates again on the open houses that you're having for the kindergarten roundup in first grade?
Yeah, so the kindergarten meet and greet is Tuesday, April 21st from 6 to 7 for all elementary schools except Allen. And then Allen will hold theirs on Thursday, April 23rd from 6 to 7. And this is for all children who are turning 5 before August 31st.
6 to 7 p.m.
So, did I say a.m.?
No, you didn't say it all.
6 to 7 p.m., okay. Yes.
Yeah, there are going to be more coming into PM than there would be in AM, but some jobs are like that. Well, thank you, folks, for stopping by again. Dr. Johnson, always good to see you and get the input of what's going on your aspect from being the superintendent of a great school district here in Hutchinson. Stacy, as always, your communication, really appreciate you taking time to be able to come in. And thanks to Travis and Lisa as well for coming in the first segment. It's going to wrap things up. We'll see you guys next month, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
You betcha. We'll be back with more KW.